Hi everybody, it's Amy and Eric again. Eric is here again. We are going to do a high school hop today.
Yes.
For our Sunday drive. We are going to take it back to our high school days as we tour the high schools here in Winter Garden, starting at West Orange, which is where we are beginning right now. So we are at West Orange High School here in Winter Garden. This is the oldest of the high schools that we're going to see today. We kind of referenced it in another video. Love the school, love the location. The West Orange Warriors.
Yes.
Yes.
Go Warriors.
Yes, and their colors are, Eric is good with colors.
Their colors are like Florida Gator colors. So,
Yep.
so
Orange
royal
and blue.
blue, orange, and white. Just as we pass the auditorium there, for us, West Orange High School, if a school can be famous, it's not really that famous, but one of the things of note about West Orange High School, first of all, our kids go there. That's not a thing of note. But we have one child there now. Our daughter also went there, and she was taught by Dr. Redding, who is now the director of choral activities at Central Florida University of Central Florida. Sorry, but he won a Grammy.
Yep.
So he won a Grammy for being a teacher.
Music Educator of the Year. He received that. Yes, he did.
And the thing that Amy really likes the best about West Orange High School is what?
Their commitment to the arts. And, Eric and I have a background in the arts. I was a dancer. My mom owned a dance studio, so I grew up dancing from the age that I was 2 and up. And I opened up my own studio. I taught dance for 30 years. Eric and I met performing professionally. He was a singer. I was a dancer. We have children that are very active in the arts, musically, vocally, dance-wise. And so to find a high school that also kind of shared that commitment and dedication to supporting the arts, to me, did mean a lot.
Really
That's, Eric and I talk all the time about how what we do, especially when it comes to the videos and even, the Sunday drives, having some experience in the arts and being on stage in front of people and being able to speak in front of people, and it's just such a valuable skill to have. And I don't know, I just think that you don't get that when you've got your nose in a video game. I appreciate that the school had such a commitment to the arts and supported them. And still do, yes. So our daughter graduated. She's now at Valdosta State. So, Eric, why don't you tell them about our in-state tuition there?
So she actually goes to school in Georgia, but they have basically mutual in-state tuition thing. So we just considered that a Florida State school for the purposes of what she wanted to do. So kind of our deal with our kids was always you have to get good enough grades to get into a state school, so we don't have to pay out-of-state tuition.
Right.
So by the way, just tell them where we are now, because this will seem familiar.
Yes, so this will seem familiar, and we kind of chose this route purposefully. So we left West Orange High School, and now we took Roper Road here, and we are going to take a left on Daniels Road. Daniels Road is the road that has Winter Garden Village, and we've referenced that, I think, in probably every video, only because people need to know about shopping, where shopping is.
And it's central.
And it is. It's a great kind of a little target point to know where a Target is.
Nice.
So that's kind of where we are. So Winter Garden Village is going to be coming up on our left, but where we're going from here, and we'll point it out again as we get a little bit closer, but we're going to continue straight past it as opposed to turning right like we did in some other videos. Again, we'll reference it when we get right up here. But we're going to go to Windermere High School next, and then we're going to end our tour today at the new Horizon High School, which has not yet opened, so that you can get a taste of all 3 high schools here in this area.
And one of the things to remember is that as of 3 years ago, there was only one high school for
West
all
Orange.
of.
Yep.
And so as we take you on these Sunday drives through all of this residential growth, so the Horizon West area is, or was, it's among the largest planned developments in the country. So what happened to our sleepy little local government, who approved the plans?
Yes.
It's not like it was a surprise to them, but all of a sudden, we went from having one high school that was at a decent capacity to suddenly needing 2 high schools to now needing 3 high schools, and that has all happened in the last 10 years.
Right.
And I feel like this fall now we're going to be on top of it. I hope so.
I hope so.
But there's the Grove. We took you through there the other day.
The Winter Garden Village area to our left. The Florida Hospital or Advent Health is over to our right. So this all should look familiar again to you. The McDonald's where we stopped at the end of that tour to get my Diet Coke.
And so thinking about, since this is a kind of a high school to high school to high school tour, this is where kids from West Orange High School, where they work, where they come, they come to Chick-fil-A after school.
Or before school.
Or before school, or during school, I get texts, can you bring me Chick-fil-A? And usually I say no, and sometimes I feel like I'm nice and I do that. Let's talk real quick about gas station. That's a Speedway gas station. We had a client in town from Arizona, and I was, they were following me. I was leading them to an appointment with Amy, and I shared with them that find the gas stations. It's kind of important.
It is, yeah.
Because why are there not gas stations here, Amy?
Don't ask me.
I actually know then. I thought you knew.
Oh, no, I don't know.
Well, there are gas stations
What
here.
I also want to know is why this person, too, in front of me, who's in a straight lane, decided he was going to turn left.
Because Florida.
Florida.
The water table is high here, underground.
Oh, that's true. Yes, I did know that.
So, we've taken you on other tours through all the lakes and all the water. Well, the water, underground, they have to, build big gas tanks under the gas station. So it has to be at kind of a high point for the water table to be low to build a gas station there. So very often you find yourself driving, ironically, a long way to go get gas.
Yes.
So here we are now. We're at the intersection of 429 and Stony Brook West Parkway. So if you joined us for a Sunday drive earlier, up here at this stoplight, we took a right and went down Stony Brook West Parkway.
Yeah, we went all the way down that, all the way down Marsh Road. We showed you Twin Waters Sanctuary at Twin Waters, all the way down. Showed you the new Heartwood Landing location. I think that was the day we went to the movies, wasn't it?
That was the day we went to the movies.
Today we are doing the high school hop, or be true to your school.
Be true to your school, yeah.
We're going to talk about the high schools we went to. So where'd you go, Eric?
I went to Tab High School in Yorktown, Virginia. The orange and white Tab Tigers, they just stole the Tennessee Volunteers uniforms for football.
This is so educational.
It is.
It is really
How about you? Where did you go?
Okay.
I'll put the word on the screen when you say it.
Please do. I went to Cox High School.
There it is on the screen for you.
COX. I went to Cox High School, Frank W. Cox High School in Virginia Beach, Virginia, which is where I am from. Go Falcons.
Thank God it's the Falcons.
Oh, my Lord. Okay, that's not.
Okay, so tell us about your favorite cheer from when you were a cheerleader at Cox High School.
Okay, so yes, I did cheer.
By the way, we have to certify this is still kid friendly.
This is still very kid friendly.
COX, Cox High School.
It's Cox High School. Frank W. Cox High School.
Yes.
When I went to school, Lottie B. Waters was our principal. She was a lovely lady.
Nice.
And anyway, thinking back to it, it is really funny when you are an adult and you think things through a bit more as to what you did or said as children that you really didn't understand, just how it could be perceived, perhaps. But yeah, we had a cheer called Great Big C, Big C's Great. Great Big C, Big C's Great, Great.
That's a solid cheer.
That is a solid
Great Big
cheer.
C. And the C for the Great Big, the C stands for
Cox. It does, Cox.
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 Okay, let's move on. I feel like we're filling time because there's traffic. You notice there's traffic. Right lane closed ahead. So they're just fixing potholes here.
Yeah. We drove past it earlier today, so I thought they'd be done by now.
I did too.
Alas. So Windermere High School. So let's talk about that. So again, let's go back to West Orange for just a minute.
Yep.
So West Orange High School, when we first moved here, and our daughter, who is now in college, was a freshman in high school. We actually moved here when she was in middle school, but when she was a freshman in high school, West Orange was still the only high school here. So they actually created a complete separate campus for the freshmen.
Oh, yeah.
So there was a freshman campus that they built with portables beyond, just behind West Orange High School. And so that's where she went. Now, when her sophomore year came about, that was when Windermere High School opened. And so that alleviated the overcrowding at West Orange. And so they did away with the freshman campus as a West Orange freshman campus, and they just created an additional school there. Anyway, so lovely school, big fans of West Orange High School, go Warriors.
Shout out to one of my favorite communities, Banana Bay.
Banana Bay.
So where do you live? I live in Banana Bay. That's solid. I like that a lot.
Definitely sounds like a Jimmy Buffett place, doesn't it?
It does. Head on down to Banana Bay. That's nice. So, by the way, we're coming down 535. So there are corridors. This kind of runs down into Windermere And by the way, a little confusing that Windermere High School is in Winter Garden, Florida, but that's okay.
That's all right.
I think
we're not offended.
I think Windermere has a certain cachet to the name,
sure,
shall we say? And I think people, when they voted on the names, they wanted it to be tied to Windermere because
it's kind of on the corner.
It's super close there. Right around the corner is Windermere Prep, which is a very popular, well-known private school here. So I mean, it is right on the cusp of Windermere. It's not like I'm not mad at them for naming it Windermere High School. I just thought it was strange. I was like, well, you're in, you could have named it Winter Garden High School, and
it would have been nice.
It would have been okay.
That's okay.
But it is in Winter Garden.
Yeah. So,
I'm sorry. So this corridor 535 is the road that we're on now. One corridor over is Avalon Road, which is Route 545, which also heads directly north-south. It runs just parallel to this, and that really is the road that takes you through what's known as Horizon West. Mm-hmm. This takes you through the Winter Garden Windermere corridor, but they're very close to one another. In fact, we just passed a moment ago Tilden Road, which goes across, right? That was Tilden?
Yeah, that was Tilden.
Tilden Road goes across, and then you get kind of into the core of what we call Winter Garden itself. We got more construction.
We do. This was
Move to Florida. It's great.
So we just kind of passed, again, these are just points of reference, nothing really spectacular, but to the left back there is a smaller sports complex called Braddock Park. When our son used to play Parks and Rec soccer, they used to use those soccer fields. And then there's a 7-Eleven that's right across the street, which is really nice because that was the cool thing. You go get your Slurpees after your soccer game. So if you've got little kids and they're playing Parks and Rec sports, that's kind of a great field because then you can just hop across to get
Tell me
your
about
Slurpees.
Summerport. That's important.
Summerport. It's a great community. I'm actually glad they just put a stoplight there because it was kind of cray-cray before they put the stoplight out there at the entrance. But Summerport is a great community. Connects back there through to Independence. There's a whole shopping area back in there as well. You've got another Publix. Was there anything else you wanted me to mention about that?
No, and I think at some point soon we'll take a Sunday drive through Independence and through Hamlin and all.
Yeah. So
all of those things are sort of beyond those trees in the distance is Summerport, and beyond that is a lot of growth. So we're kind of on the edge of all of that growth. And Summerport is kind of one of the old school developments, and old school like it's 10 or 15 years old, but it's older relative to all the other things, but it's in that same vein of large developments of residential property that is now on what used to be citrus fields and those kind of things.
Right. So we are coming up, Eric. Over to our left is Windermere High School.
Go Wolverines.
Go Wolverines. And to the right across the street, you have moo cows.
Yes, we do. There they are.
So there's some cows over there, but here's the high school. Now it is, people go, oh my gosh, it's a giant high school. It's, it is. It also is just like Horizon High School is also going to be just as large. And candidly, West Orange is very tall too, or very big. Yep. One of the things that I think when we first did our thing with West Orange is we were amazed at that courtyard area. It felt like a college campus behind the front gate, so to speak.
You can't see it from here, but it's actually, there's actually like different buildings in there. So there's, building 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The West Orange is the same way. Yeah. And so there's a central courtyard behind all kind of the administrative offices are up front, and then behind that are all the administrative courtyards and things like that. So if you were to turn left, which we're not going to do here, then you get to Windermere. Yep. Just down the road is Windermere Prep, but you see there's a BurgerFi there.
Yeah, they just opened up this little shopping area here, so it's nice. So a lot of the Windermere kids work over here in this little area. Yep. There's a couple little spots that you can kind of grab a quick bite and hang out with your buddies. Now, one thing with Windermere High School, excuse me, is that they do not have their own football stadium.
True.
So they use the field that will be up here on our left for all of their home games. You'll see the kids walking there. It's not like super far, but you'll notice that West Orange High School does have its own football stadium in the back, and so does the new Horizon High School.
And the stadium is called Deputy Scott Pine Stadium. I'll just mention that. So I'm on the Orange County Citizens Advisory Committee, and
congratulations, by the way.
Thanks. I'm honored to be the District 1 representative on that, but my first meeting for that was on the anniversary date of Deputy Scott Pine was killed. And I'll put a picture up on the screen just to honor that. I think it's a lovely thing that they honored his life and his service by naming the field that. So I always feel like I want to point out that it's Deputy Scott Pine Stadium. because that is in his memory, and so we should honor that memory.
Absolutely.
Community over here to the right called Vineyards, which is just, single-family homes, different kind of things. Again, slightly older development. But now this road, as you see, now we're turning around to the right, so we're going to connect to the other part of Horizon West, to the Winter Garden area and things. And you see the stadium coming up here on our, in front of us now.
Yeah.
And then we'll be on our left.
Yep. So there's the stadium, and of course it's football stadium, but they play the soccer games there.
And there's a practice field, track and field is there too.
Yeah. So it's a nice actual location. We've been there several times, but you'll see that it is their home field. They've got their banners and things up there as well. So Deputy Scott Pine
Park,
Community Park, we appreciate.
Absolutely. So now we're going to come up on the right is Independence, which is the Big Daddy. One of the first Big Daddy developments. True?
Yes.
I saw the little tower thing in front. You always know that's it.
Yeah, they have a beautiful entrance too. It's an older community as well. Still beautiful. You go in, you'll see when you tour some of the homes. If you're out looking at homes, there's a resale home, and you go in there.
Talk about an entrance. Though.
It is gorgeous, and there's water in the middle of it. Like the middle, it's like a thin, like a glassy lake or like a glassy pond. It's beautiful.
Good job, Independence.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But and they have great amenities as well. In fact, the amenity center is right there past that really gorgeous entrance. The communities are just a smidge older. So whenever you have a slightly smidge older, then you have a little bit more dated interior. So
right, but not gated.
Not gated, but
huge.
Really nice.
There is a bald eagle flying right there.
Oh,
holy moly! Look at that. I got him in video. Hey, bald eagle. Welcome to Florida. Holy moly! Look at that.
Is he still there?
So here's the thing about Florida. I'm like, this is so stupid. I'm tearing up. It's not. I think that where we live is so beautiful that you see that stuff all the time. You see bald eagles. You see just the birds that we have here are just incredible. And I just like that just got me all charged up. I'm like, hey, look, a bald eagle now. Hey, Dreamfinders, right here. So tell us about where we are.
Well, so we've actually referenced this community when we were coming from the direction that we're now going to turn right. But when we were doing another tour going the other way, that is just a new Dreamfinders community that is, they're still just starting it. Like there's nothing cleared and ready for anything yet, but they've clearly got some big plans. So we're excited about that. And that was back on Fiquette Road. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here. We're going to take a left here on Seidel, and very shortly you're going to see Horizon High School.
So we are going the opposite direction that we went on a different drive.
Correct. Exactly. Yes. There was a time where we came down Seidel from the opposite direction.
We turned right. We pointed out that Summerlake is on our right. One of the original big communities here. So now we're turning on to Seidel. So this will seem familiar to you from the other way.
From the other perspective. This is when we talked about Watermark was on the right and the left. And again, we'll basically do the same thing but in reverse. But the point of this is to see how close Horizon High School is to Windermere High School. Now, with all of these schools and with all of this growth, you can imagine that there's a bit of a challenge with zoning and then rezoning and then rezoning and then rezoning.
Okay.
And that is a bit of a pickle because no one really wants their children of any school age, whether it's elementary school, whether it's middle school, whether it's high school, nobody really wants to have so much change. You kind of want that comfort, that consistency in your child's education. So the good news is that all of these schools are great. So the schools that pop up, they're going to be great too. This is just an area that it demands it. These are going to be fantastic schools. But friends of ours, their daughter, I think, changed elementary schools 4 times.
Right.
And
every single year from like, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, she was in a different school.
Now, the first time it was because they moved. They were building a home, and once the home was completed, then they moved. But even since then, it has changed. And that is, again, another sign of how much growth has happened in this area that warrants these new schools. And again, it was all part of the master plan to begin with, which is why you'll see parcels of land set aside, and it'll say future home of another OCPS school. Because they've got the land set aside. If they need it, they're going to use it. If they don't, I don't know what they'll do with it, but
they're going to need it.
They are. They're going to need it. And again, we're just doing a high school hop, but there's definitely middle schools and elementary schools popping up everywhere as well. So we're just going to reference these in reverse. That Lakeview Point was a Pulte community.
We have Ravenna.
Oh yeah, we passed
which
that.
is up there,
Yeah.
which is Park Square.
Yeah.
Over on the left here is a KB Homes. That's what that is, right?
No, this is Ashton Woods.
Oh, this is Ashton Woods. I'm sorry.
We passed that. This
the
is
KB
Latham
Homes.
Park over
Latham
on
Park.
our left.
And actually on our right. Those are also considered part of Latham Park there.
Yep.
Just that one little strip
One
there.
little strip. Those are actually on the lake, so those are some sweet homes over there. But yeah, and then you've got, Watermark will be up on our right and our left. But as soon as we past Watermark, I mean, that's where the new high school is. It'll be coming up on our left in a few minutes. And so let's go back over the colors again. Okay, so West Orange
is royal blue and orange and white.
Okay, so like Florida Gators. And then you've got
Windermere is like the Seattle Seahawks. So
okay, there you go.
Green, blue, and silver.
Okay.
And then Horizon High School is like...
And it's the Horizon High School
Hawks. The Horizon Hawks, they're sort of Clemson colors. So, and what I mean by that is Clemson, everyone thinks that they're orange and white, but they're really orange, white, and purple. Purple is the accent. So Horizon is going to be orange, purple, and white, kind of, I think, in that order. It seems to me that way, that they're predominantly orange. They may end up being predominantly purple. Who knows? We're passing up here on the right. The shopping center, we haven't seen this before because it goes up so fast. This is a community shopping area called The Mark. So referencing Watermark. But so they're getting the first buildings up there.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Going to be lots of shopping in there.
Which is great because, this area needs something kind of nestled in within it. It actually reminds me of where I had my dance studio in Kiln Creek, where it was like just one little strip of shops kind of tucked away within a community that you could certainly access if you weren't a part of the initial area. But it was just kind of a nice little tucked away place to shop. And I'm excited to see what's going in there and to see that kind of continue to grow and I'm sure we will visit whatever's in there.
One of the things that we don't have, just back to the subject of high schools, one of the things that occurs to me, we don't really have, the rivalries seem a little bit forced. Like, I couldn't tell you who Horizon High School's rival is going to be. It's going to be the other two high schools, I guess. But it's hard sometimes because it's like the kids that are going to go to Horizon High School used to go to Windermere High School and used to go to West Orange High School.
Right, yeah, exactly. The Windermere kids used to go to West Orange, and now they're going to go to Horizon.
Tab High School, we did not like York High School. We just didn't. But both schools had been there for 20, 25, 30 years. There was a history of rivalry. We always won, by the way, of course.
Of course.
Not always, but usually.
Well, you were on the tennis team, honey.
Right, I'm talking about football rivalry mainly. But who were your rivals at Cox High School?
Usually it was First Colonial.
Okay.
FC.
Okay.
Princess Anne a little bit, but I think it was usually First Colonial because it's the same thing. The people that went to, by the way, the school's over there. We need to not. You want to turn in there a little bit?
Can we turn in there now?
I can turn in.
Let's turn in because we're here now. So we've made the journey. So.
But yeah, so what I was saying is, the rival is kind of the same way. It's like, so when I went to junior high school, most of the kids that I went to junior high school with were zoned for another high school. So there was only a handful of us that ended up going to Cox, and then. The people, and it was kind of the opposite for some of the kids that ended up going to Cox. Most of those people went to COX, went to First Colonial. So it's like they all went to middle school or junior high, we called it back then.
Right.
Went there together. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get down here too far, but I will go a little bit further.
Let's go past the truck and we'll see what. Forgiveness. Permission.
Yes. Yeah, we'll just loop it
That's kind of our watchword.
But yeah, so anyway, so our rival was First Colonial, but I think most of those people knew each other because they had gone to elementary and middle school with them, and then just, again, they kind of break you out into two high schools.
Yeah. So 429 is right over there, by the way. There's the toll plaza. Just to let you know kind of where we are, we'll give you a quick peek at what's going on over there. This is scheduled to open in, 5 months, 6 months, 6 months. So in August, the end of August of this year, this will open. It'll house a middle school. When we talk about people flipping around schools, the rule generally in Orange County is if you have reached 11th grade, you don't have to transfer, as long as you still live in Orange County. So that applies to moving within communities or whatever. So a lot of these schools open without a senior class. Right. Because they don't want to move kids their senior year. So
they should get a good shot there, maybe.
Yeah, there's a good shot of the school. Right, so there it is. And so we have gone school to school to school. It's been fun. We have good. So we have fun. So hello to my fellow Falcons from Cox High School. Go Tigers. Shout out to your Tigers. Shout out Tab Tigers and Grafton Clippers and West Orange Warriors, Windermere Wolverines, and now Horizon Hawks, who some of you don't know your Horizon Hawks yet, but you are.
All right.
It'll be good. Have a great day.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching and happy house hunting.